Hi, I'm Marc Wainer, and this is the Mentorship Challenge. Connecting with a mentor will help you avoid costly mistakes and save a lot of pain and heartache. This program is designed to connect you with the right mentor, whose guidance and advice will accelerate your road to success. If you have the drive and ambition to be successful, all you have to do is register on our website and we will do the rest. I have with me in the studio Mike Whitfield. For the benefit of the viewers, Mike is the CEO of Nissan South Africa. He started as a trainee in the marketing department, worked yourself through various divisions and departments until, I think it was in 2005, you were the first ever South African to be posted to an international role, and that was in Scandinavia, of all places.
I joined as a trainee, and I was very fortunate in that I had the opportunity to work in just about every element of the business, whether it was manufacturing, marketing, the finance side, and what really took my fancy was the marketing side, and spent a number of years really learning the business and a lot of great people helping me along the way. And in 2005, they gave me an opportunity in the Nordics.
Okay, so Nissan, which is also Datsun,
Yep.
are now the fourth largest car manufacturer in South Africa, is that correct?
In South Africa, yes, as a brand, but we must remember that Nissan South Africa is only part of a much bigger multinational business where we have an alliance, Renault, Nissan and Mitsubishi, and combined we'll sell over 10 million vehicles this year, which makes us the largest automotive alliance in the world.
But now the trend is to electric cars, autonomous cars. Is that creating huge change?
So instead of technicians, we're now looking for mechatronic experts. And it's moving fast. We're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, but so if we look 5 years down the line, electric vehicles will be a significant part of global sales, not necessarily in South Africa at this stage, although we will have to move and will move in that direction.
It changes lifestyles. If you've got autonomous cars and they drive yourself, you don't have to live closer to where you work. You can call a car. You don't have to own a car. I mean, I was reading an article somewhere where they say a car, if you buy a car today, is used about 5%, 90% of the time. So people spend a fortune on a motor car. It's a prestige thing to have a car. But if you take me as a typical example, I drive 2 or 3 kilometers to work. I park my car, I drive home, maybe once or twice a week we go somewhere else. And you have a very valuable depreciating asset sitting in your garage. So things like fractional ownership and things like that are probably going to happen.
Those are reality, and it's happening a lot faster than we think. And we've got the big debate on range on electric vehicles, but 80% of the world's population never do more than 100 kilometers a day. So what you're saying is 100% right, but still people want to have it in that case they are going to go a longer distance. But I see very different ownership situations in the future.
So what you're telling me is we shouldn't be buying motor dealerships or service stations.
I think it's one of the debates we're having with our dealers, because you're not going to have the same requirement for service bays. So how do we handle that? And there's a massive amount of real estate tied up in servicing at the moment.
And battery technology cars, I mean, that's evolving at a huge rate. And I read, is it called the Leaf?
Well, we've just launched the second generation of the Leaf a couple of weeks ago.
And people can actually use the power of the battery to use to power stuff in their homes?
When you arrive home, you connect it back into your home grid. It powers during your peak demand when you're cooking, heating up water and things. And then you use off-peak periods to recharge it.
One of the issues, they say, with electric cars is that they have to be recharged regularly. Will there be enough charging stations? Is that a challenge for us here in South Africa?
Infrastructure is always going to be a critical aspect, and the only way that's going to be achieved is a partnership between the manufacturers, government, property developers are going to have to play a role in that. But we're seeing that the range going up so significantly that while it'll always be an issue to charge, but the first generation Leaf, 160 kilometers, the one we've just launched, probably closer to 400, and we're not far off getting to 600 plus.
So throughout your career, you said you've had some incredible people. Have mentors played a big part in in your success?
Very much so. If one looks back and been part of a multinational, it's not only mentors in South Africa, not only, I mean, my father obviously, like all of us, played a big role in it, but a lot of my colleagues that I've worked with in Europe and Japan, particularly our current CEO, Carlos Ghosn, played a big role in what I understand about business today.
What advice would you have to somebody out there who wants to get into any aspect of the motor business?
I think I mean, obviously they need to decide which element. There's so many components of the motor business, but is to find someone. I mean, I'm more than happy to help, and we've got a lot of other people to share with them what it does offer. Like anything, you need to have a passion about it, but it covers engineering, finance. It's a fully faceted 360. You name it, electronics.
It's great. But the real purpose of having you here is to put you in the hot seat and say, for the people out there who want to get into any aspect of the motor industry, are you prepared to help? And you said you were, by giving some of your valuable time to mentor these people. And how many hours can I get from you?
The answer is yes. I'm already doing it. It's very much a key part of it. But from our point of view, and personally with pleasure, 50 hours from the rest of my business, another 50 hours. So, if there's more demand, we'll go more, because I think it's important to develop that.
So 50 hours from you, and then you say the rest of your business, are you going to make other people within Nissan available to mentor people?
They'll volunteer.
After you tell them to?
No, we don't operate like that, a mutual agreement, but certainly there are a lot of people who want to put something back into it.
Oh, that's fantastic, and that's really what this country needs, is people to put back. So what's going to happen is our production team will ask you for some of those people's names. We'll contact them. We'll put them on the list of mentors, and hopefully people will take up the offer, and hopefully one day we'll find somebody else who spent not quite 36 years, but maybe 15 or 16 years, and one of those people out there could be the CEO of Nissan South Africa. Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, enlightening. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your unbelievably generous offer, and by making your organization available for people out there. As a token of appreciation, I'd like to give you a copy of my book, Making My Mark. Nothing about the motor industry, only about the property industry. But once again, thank you.
Thank you.
If you would like to be mentored by Mike, please register on our website as a mentee. You also do some other stuff which people would say maybe is crazy. The one is the charitable side. The other one is your operation, which is more like an ad agency or a Google than what one would imagine a insurance company. You think of insurance as being the staid, conservative, and I saw a clip of your offices with video machines and snooker tables and all kinds of things. Is that something you set out to do when you started? Was that part of your plan?
Yeah, that's definitely part of the plan. So I think when I left my previous corporate job, I just said I'm never doing corporate again, and I had an ad agency. So when we started, I guess we just wanted to blow that up into bigger offices. So there must be music, people must enjoy themselves. I mean, people come and give their life energy probably most of the hours of the day. So at least enjoy it. Well, that's my philosophy. So yes, we have crazy things at the office. And crazy rules as well. So I mean, we have unlimited leave for management upwards. And
how are you going to keep this culture as your business grows? I mean, it's far easier when you're smaller to have these kind of things, unlimited leave and all this fun. But as the business grows, and I know from my own experience, the bigger the business gets, unfortunately, the more bureaucratic it has to become. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, I think while building this business, I always had that in mind. And from day one, as the team got bigger, I mean, we were 20 people when we launched. We're now 720. We specifically, we almost made it a company value to not become bureaucratic. And I guess the core team and the next level management is definitely focused in not becoming bureaucratic. So yes, inevitably, probably if you now in different countries, it does become more difficult. But we absolutely focus on not to put red tape in place, and people must have fun and create fun. It's not a top-down thing. It's a let's all create an environment which we all enjoy, and you're either going to do it with culture or with rules.
In terms of advice to somebody out there who would like to be in the insurance business or start a business, what would you tell them what not to do?
I guess people get too married to their idea. So, I've seen that in most entrepreneurial pitches. So they're not open to advice to tweak things, or they want the whole cake for themselves. So they want investors' money, but not willing to share it. So I would first start with if the plan, because there's enough money around. So if the plan is right and the pitch is right, then that would be fine. And then I would say then work on you.
What you start with a year or 2 years down the line is certainly changed a lot.
No, definitely. I can imagine over 4 years. And a couple
So what kind of advice did you get from your mentors? Tell me a little bit about your mentors.
So first of all, when I started working in my corporate career in Johannesburg, I had the traffic. So I could, for 2 hours a day at least, get audiobooks. So those were my first mentors. I listened to everything from pastors to any business book out there, the audiobooks. And then found my first partner, Marius Venter. So we went into business. It was a digital ad agency back in those years. We also started a little small search engine. Yes, this was 2003 or something like that. And he's 20 years older than me, so a lot wiser. And I was very blessed to have him as a partner and a mentor then. And then every partner after that was kind of a mentor.
And also I saw when you were at Telesure, you were in the IT department, but you wanted to know what we're doing in the marketing, and you got advice from those people. So you didn't confine yourself to what you were doing. You're always interested in getting advice from people in other departments and finding out what they were doing and why and how.
Exactly.
And when somebody comes to you and says, okay, I want to insure my car with King Price, but I'm a young guy and I've got some kind of fancy car, how do you deal with that?
So at the moment, we try and price for everything. So you just price it. I think when you launch and you're a lot smaller, you have a lot of red lines. So I guess under 25-year-old driving a Lamborghini would hurt your business too much to take that chance. And as you grow bigger, you just price for it. Fortunately at this stage, we can accommodate most of those. If it's a R1 billion building, we'll still talk to the reinsurers and see what we'll take on board and what they will take on board. And as your team gets more experience, you take on more risk.
Do you have anything for the benefit of do you have a quote or a saying or something that kind of encapsulates what you think people, or that inspires you, people should do?
I guess what I think is people take life too serious. I think it's more an enjoying of it. So enjoy it and find your passion. I can't think you can excel in anything if you don't enjoy it.
That's an absolute given. You said you listen to audiobooks, you read a lot. Anything you're reading at the moment, or a book that you think people should read?
Well, the last one I read was Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. Yes, exactly. So it's a book that a friend of mine recommended. It's How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. But it's years old, but I love it. I really, really enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure. I now come to the part of the show where I'm going to ask you to pledge a certain number of hours of your time to mentor people. But before I do that, I have to tell you that we had one of your opposition on the show. Okay?
How much did he pledge?
No, so I'm not going to tell you what he pledged.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is put you on the spot. It was Renee Otter from our way. Renee pledged hours. So let's see how many hours you give us, and let's see if you can actually do better than him. Okay? But saying that, I'm going to tell you that if you do, we're going to go back to Renee and say to him that you've beat. We're not going to tell him how many hours you pledged, but we're going to go back to him and ask him that you've done better than him, and does he want to up his pledge? So with that, how many hours of your time are you going to give to mentor some of the people out there who would like to be in the insurance business?
Well, I wrote on a form 30, but now since the challenge from Mr. Renee, I guess I can do 40.
Okay, 40 hours. You know, it's probably over a year, 4 hours a month, 48.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Okay,
every second week, 2 hours. Yeah,
Okay.
48 would be
Okay,
good.
48 hours we've got from you. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Mark.
And we are going to go back to Rene and see, but he was lower than that. So I think at this point in time, you're doing better. Do you have somebody else that you know of, a friend, an associate, who you think would make a good mentor? Doesn't have to be in your field, can be in any other field.
Okay, Gushai Radley, so he's our chairperson. He's in charge of, he's a financial director there at Mergon, our main shareholder. I just think he can contribute so much, and he's got the heart to also mentor people and make a
Fantastic.
difference.
So our production team will get hold of him. We'll tell him he's been challenged by you.
Yeah.
And he's got to try and match what you've pledged or better it. So as a token of appreciation, I'd like to give you a copy of my book, Making My Mark.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that.
If you would like to be mentored by Gideon, please register on the website. It could change your life. See you next week. With me is Gideon Galloway, CEO and founder of King Price. To date, I've been blown away by the response we have had from mentors and mentees. Unfortunately, we are not able to screen every single interview, but they are available on our YouTube channel. The latest one to be uploaded is that of Andre Retief. Andre is the president of Coaches and Mentors South Africa, and he has generously pledged 40 hours of his time.
You kind of get stuck and you realize that in so many ways, personally, you've messed up and walked over people, and your behavior has just not been what it should be.
In addition to Andre's interview, all of our other interviews are available on the YouTube channel. So I urge you, if you haven't seen them, to please go onto the YouTube channel and avail yourself of the opportunity. Gideon, welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
So quite an interesting career. You started studying for a BSc degree. Pretty much like me, you didn't like studying. So after 2 years, you packed that up to start a website development scenario. From there, you moved into various other businesses. I think at one stage you had 14 businesses that you were doing. And interestingly, you were running businesses part-time whilst you were working largely for the Telstra Group, where you were involved in Dial Direct, the formation of Dial Direct, First for Women, the Hippo aggregator. And I think that's what gave you the bug. You wanted to do something on the east side of insurance. You saw this in Australia and in your travels, and that led you to form King Price. Explain to us how it came about, what it is that makes it so different.
I was on a conference there in Germany. A BMW engineer showed slides of how newer vehicles to repair parts, cost of ownership is probably half as cost effective than the same model, just the older model, crashed at the same angle and all of that. And it's mainly due to fewer parts, and cars get safer. And I never could understand why does that never come through in assets that depreciate, like cars, for example. So, and I think it's mostly the IT behind it as well, the financial model, because you have to real-time rate every month and all of that. So there was this passion in me to create insurance that doesn't go up every year. So I mean, you were sitting in scenarios where loyal clients have been with you for 4 years at previous insurers, and then we would still increase that, and only for them to cancel. And I thought there must be a better way to do things, and that's where the bug.
Aside from increasing, I mean, if I look at my own scenario, you insure a car, you buy a car for 500,000, you insure it for 500,000.
Yeah.
That's the premium, and it just carries on every year. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, but the value of the car is depreciating.
Yes, exactly. But they will always pay you out retail. Any insurer can't be in a better position as betterment. So
retail being replacement cost.
Yeah, exactly. And therefore it gets less every year. The replacement cost on your schedule, it will still have the same original value on it, but nobody adjusts your premium ever. And that's what we wanted to change. And so a lot of hard work went into that model. But that was just an idea.
But I mean, it sounds so simple. So you would wonder why the mainstream insurers don't do it. Mm-hmm. Is there a reason for that?
Well, mate, I mean, firstly, you have to take your base, and if you have a lot of hundreds of thousands of clients, and if you apply that rule next year, I mean, they will lose a lot of premium to now do it that way. So I don't think there's any board that would successfully survive a decision like that. I think when you start from scratch, it's easier because the model is different. You keep your clients longer, and then the finances should work.
But I think I read when I was doing research that that's the key. For you to make a profit, you have to keep the client for longer.
Exactly. So and that you see in your monthly churn of clients, which our financial model is successful, and so people can copy us. I would like to think that people would do that, similar to the out bonus or any other idea that followed. And I think it's fair. It's a fair way. If an asset depreciates, adjust the premium and that the client pay for the fair risk.
So you have this idea, okay? You've got various other businesses. Naively, perhaps you think, okay, I've got this idea. I'm going to raise funding quite easily for it. You spend some of your own money, quite a lot of money, I think 20 million, in getting the systems or stuff, and then you start looking for investors, okay? And it wasn't as easy as you thought.
Exactly.
43 pitches.
Yes.
Over a period of, 3 years?
4 years.
4 years. So from conception to 4 years, there must have been times when you thought, just pack this in.
Lots of times. I think they're midway through. So that my investment came over a period. So I just started. So I said, let's get the name, let's build the IT and start pitching. I thought it would take 9 months, maximum a year probably, which obviously now took 4 years. And I think here at pitch number 26, I was just down. I mean, I almost gave up. And it's amazing how people come along. It just pulls you just that further.
Because I think for the benefit of the people looking at it, very often what happens is you put everything together, you've got your spreadsheets, you've got your model, you go and see a potential investor, they ask questions, they want to do some due diligence. That's not a one day, that can take
exactly.
2 months or 3 months, and then you get the very polite no.
Exactly.
But you learn.
Exactly that. So that 43 pitches is exactly that. You sign confidentiality. It's a DD. It's just to have a no thank you or not at this stage. So it's not like an hour at your pitch. And so you learn a lot, tremendous amount.
So one of the turning points was when you got your underwriter in the form of Munich.
Yeah.
And then from there you found some investors. The one I find very interesting because this is a guy who was invested in property. Into Atterbury, and he has this, because I know I sold the Atterbury portfolio to Hyprop, and he has this philosophy of putting back.
Exactly.
And I think that's carried over to you guys.
Yes, no, definitely. But it's amazing if you rewind. So back when I wanted to start this dream, I actually wrote in my daily journal and I prayed and I said, "Give me partners that feels the same about the country and building and changing the world." And after 43 pitches, found the perfect partners that feels the same about business, I guess. And so we are 100% aligned when we talk about giving back, and it's not just saying that, it's in the it's in the dividends, it's in the shareholders.
Because that's so important when one has partners, to find people who are aligned. Because I always say it's easy to get married, much harder to get divorced, and much more expensive. After the break, we will continue this fascinating discussion with Gideon.